Red Dead Online is about to enter its second week of 2020, and if you've been following along with the channel, as well as what Rockstar has said in recent interviews with Games Radar, VG247, IGN, and other gaming news outlets, Rockstar said they have plans to add more new roles and also new role expansions to Red Dead Online, and right now, since we're in sort of a lull with the Moonshiners update, awaiting, of course, all the bug fixes for the all too common animal spawn and camp spawn issues that were said to be fixed with the Moonshiners update, but of course they were not, I wanted to take today to discuss some news and information on a new role coming to Red Dead Online. If Bounty Hunter, Trader, Collector, or even Moonshiner isn't necessarily your own vibe for the game, perhaps this new role will be, and we're going to be taking a look at what was originally sourced from the in-game files, as well as some further developments in the past couple days that further references the same exact role that was discovered a few weeks ago. This is definitely content you'll want to look out for as we head into the new year of 2020, and I think you will enjoy this video. So if you do go on to enjoy, make sure you let me know in the comments down below, or even let me know whatever thoughts you may have, like if you're looking forward to anything in particular added with this role, or even if there's something you're hoping for that may not necessarily be something I discuss here with you inside of this video. But whatever it is, let's talk about it here together as a community, and as well, if you are new, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Red Dead Online. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's start out with what was originally discovered, and that is a new role in Red Dead Online that is actually referenced in the in-game files. Although there isn't a description for the said role, GTA forums member and also longtime data miner and leaker TezFunds2 posted on the GTA forums about the new naturalist role being found within the files. In his post, he says the following: I was looking through some interesting stuff and stumbled upon something related to a new role, the naturalist role. It looks like it was supposed to be coming alongside the Moonshiner, or it's probably one of the future roles we're getting. And then he proceeded to follow up with a user inquiring further about how this type of role can work and what a naturalist role would look like in a new Red Dead Online update, stating something similar to Algernon Wasp from single player maybe, and TezFunds gave some extra thoughts on this. He said yes, probably something like that. You know how the Moonshiner role acts as the upgrade to the Trader? The Naturalist is possibly the upgrade to the Collector, and I was actually thinking of this role when I was playing as Collector, a place where we craft lots of interesting stuff. As someone who collects plants and exotics, and the ability to collect plants from horseback made this obvious for me. And I want to throw my hat in the ring here with this one now. We have evidence on this Naturalist role found within the in-game files. TezFunds2 is a known and well-respected member of GTA forums community, as he's always bringing new discoveries or even just further discussion to the table in regards to both Grand Theft Auto Online and now Red Dead Online. And so the question of legitimacy isn't necessarily the right question to be asking here, because Videotech as well over on Twitter has also found direct in-game file references to the Naturalist role. And if you would like to check those out, you can follow both of their Twitters down below, both Videotech and TezFunds2. I have them linked. The questions the community should be asking next are: what types of activities does this role entail? Number 2, when will this role be added to Red Dead Online? Number 3, what does this mean for other roles that Rockstar Games have officially hinted at and teased at themselves? And well, now is the time to break all of this down. A naturalist is described as a type of biologist who studies the impacts of living species on each other and the environments in which they live. And although vague, we can see the direction this role is heading in. It's definitely a role that will immerse the player further into the world of Red Dead Online, and I mean truly immerse. You as a player will be setting out into the vast and beautiful landscapes, searching for animals and plants to study and observe, and it's doubtful that that's all Rockstar has planned, and I'm sure a bunch of theories may be conjuring up in your mind right now, but some realistic expectations for this role can be the player picking up herbs and flowers, and this could perhaps even help you out with your moonshining business, also something TezFunds2 discussed on the GTA forums, or the player can even capture photographs or perhaps scribble in a journal about their discoveries. Now, going out and picking herbs to help with our moonshining business would definitely be a start to this role, as we have dabbled with that while we were setting up our moonshining shack in the first place. If you guys think back, Maggie Fike had us go out and search a specific area for the right herbs and ingredients to make a special flavor of moonshine to sell to a buyer. So that infrastructure is already in the game, you know, the search and the find features. The photographer activity, although just speculation for an activity of this specific naturalist role we're talking about here, it does in fact hold weight overall as a future role to come to Red Dead Online, as Rockstar has officially mentioned them wanting to expand on photography in previous interviews, and specifically they went into some detail with VG247, and I will explain that in a moment. In this particular interview, VG247 spoke to some some lead developers over at Rockstar Studios about the future of Red Dead Online, and there was a lot that was mentioned. Roles like the Outlaw role and activities like open world robberies and long-form heist content was stated as things that they were interested in, as well as something that may necessarily disappoint those hoping for single-player DLC, or even more specifically Undead Nightmare 2, for example. Rockstar's future plans with Red Dead Redemption 2 are specifically married to the online portion and not single-player. But continuing on here, there were so many other goodies discussed in this interview that it's tough not to get sidetracked, so let's just tie it back to the naturalist role and photography in particular. Rockstar mentioned a photographer role as something in the cards for Red Dead Online. Reading a brief excerpt from this interview, another potential area Rockstar could expand on with a future role is photography, which, quote-unquote, is something we love to do, I'm told. And if done right, this is something I'm even more excited about than lawmen versus outlaws. I can already imagine packing warm clothes, trekking into the mountains, and attempting to get a perfect shot of a grazing moose. Maybe we could get more money for better compositions, or depending on what's happening in photos. And I'm also imagining a system similar to Dead Rising, but like 100% more chill. Quote, "Yes, this is such a cool area," Butchert agrees. Photography and allowing players to capture their adventures and moments is really something important to us, and it's something we've already established that the community loves. It's been amazing seeing posses come together for professional photographs thanks to the latest update, and we're really proud of Red Dead Redemption 2 and the world we made. And we obviously have the handheld camera in single player, which is also available in Red Dead Online, with players having a lot of fun capturing Arthur in spectacular fashion, sometimes hilariously so, and we've seen that continue in online. We want to keep building on this and make sure players continue chronicling their experiences as the online grows. And for those of you who may not necessarily be involved in the various Red Dead communities, whether it's one on Twitter, Instagram, GTA forums, Reddit, etc., basically, if you're not engaged in other communities besides the one here on YouTube for Red Dead, photography is a very popular thing for those players. Is the want and need for a photographer-specific role as important and crucial for the lifetime of the game as adding incredibly fun and engaging content like long form and large scale heists? No, I would probably argue otherwise and say I would rather heist, but improvements can absolutely be made to the in-game photo and camera system, specifically with the online portion of the game, and the naturalist role fits right into the scope and scale. Rockstar also went on to mention that the outlaw role may not come for some time, as they of course want this slow evolution, so maybe it's too early to have the heists and we're starting off with general robberies in the near future or something like that. But back to the photographer, the camera system is already in place. The game infrastructure to find exotic herbs and document them is already in place, and Rockstar just needs to build a progression system around this role by adding new content, new unlocks, levels, and maybe some clothing to go along with it. And of course, similar to the trader role and its companion, the moonshiner role, where basically the moonshiner is most similar to the trader role itself, this new naturalist role absolutely fits the part of a collector part 2, where instead of gathering exotic lootables and items, it's herbs and taking photos. Plus, we already have wildflowers players can search for and pick, so some of those assets are of course already there. And as TezFunds2 says, the naturalist role is possibly cut from the Moonshiners update, or it became part of the Moonshiner role, because I mean you can already see that the moonshine business depends on collecting ingredients for several flavors. I think the initial concept of the current update was to have two separate roles, the naturalist role and the moonshiner role, but the problem they faced is that the business won't be much different from the trader business. Pick up a moonshine from someplace, deliver them to the business, wait, and then sell your booze. And the naturalist role was probably to collect plants from around the map to mix them up and come up with a special drink. This would result in the moonshiner role not being much different from the trader role, and the naturalist role not being much different from the collector role. Eventually, merging both of them was the best option to have players go through something different than the other roles. Photography is an interesting idea for the role, and it will offer a different experience than the collector role, and I think it fits perfectly as the next phase of the collector role. Now, I won't really speculate any further on activities and possibilities myself, but I wanted to really tie this vague and ominous naturalist role with some real-life proof that Rockstar Games has something like this planned for the future of Red Dead Online. And when will this new role be released, and when can players start enjoying this new update? I don't have any more information on that, but we probably have a few more months to wait for anything major like a Frontier Pursuits or a Moonshiners DLC to be added into the game again. But ultimately, that is the new role coming to Red Dead Online in a future update, and so I'd love to gauge your opinion and your feedback on this new discovery. Even though I myself am going to cease speculating on this role, I want to turn it over to you guys watching. What are your thoughts on everything we discussed here inside of this video? Is there anything in particular that really stood out to you, or is there even something that you would like to see added in regards to this role that I didn't necessarily touch on? I love Red Dead Online and can talk about it for hours, and so I'd like to get your own thoughts as I'm very curious to see how the community reacts to this news. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2. If you guys want to stay up to date with updates, news, information, tips, tricks, and even leaks, we'll keep you guys updated here on the channel daily, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube. I practically live on all of those 3 websites, and you can feel free to strike up a conversation or even ask me a question. Whatever it may be, you can follow me at HazardousHDTV, and all of my social media links, including my Discord, can be found in the description down below. With that said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next Red Dead Online video. Adios, amigos.